No one really expected it, but a new moon will accompany Earth for some time. The smaller-than-normal moon has already entered Earth's orbit and will stay with us for a while. At first, the idea of a new moon seems strange, and we must get used to it. We inevitably ask ourselves whether a temporary extra satellite could have negative repercussions for Earth. The question of where exactly this small moon comes from and what its future trajectory will be has not yet been fully clarified. Scientists warn against premature conclusions, and we will only be able to make definitive statements once we've had the chance to inspect this new moon more closely. Would you have believed that we could capture a new moon like this? Our large moon has probably been accompanying Earth for billions of years, and we have become quite accustomed to it. Many processes on Earth even depend on this lunar satellite. New moons that sporadically accompany our planet are a strange idea, but still conceivable. As outlandish as the story might sound, what is happening in October 2024 is actually quite ordinary in astronomical terms. The chunks of rock that temporarily accompany us are typically not called small moons. The correct term would be asteroid or small asteroid. These cosmic visitors are so small that they behave in very unusual ways. In the case of asteroid 2024 PT5, another circumstance has led to it being called a supermoon. This asteroid likely has an interesting connection with our moon, which we will examine in more detail in a moment. But for now, let's first look at the facts surrounding Earth's new moon. Asteroid 2024 PT5 was discovered in August 2024, and shortly after this discovery, it became clear that this asteroid would temporarily become a mini-moon. Asteroid 2024 PT5 is really very small, with a diameter of only a few meters. It looks more like a flying rock than a dangerous space projectile. The asteroid has been orbiting Earth for some time and has sporadically been drawn toward our planet. This time, the approach is so close that PT5 will be firmly attached to Earth's orbit for nearly 2 months. It will follow us for 57 days before shifting orbit and disappearing from our view. Asteroids and comets are drawn toward the Sun during their journeys. They brush against the magnetic fields of other celestial bodies and can be pulled in by them. As asteroid 2024 PT5 is currently being drawn into Earth's orbit, it will stay there for some time. This small asteroid entered Earth's orbit on September 29, 2024, and is expected to remain close to Earth until November 25, 2024. Does asteroid 2024 PT5 represent a serious threat? It might sound crazy to call an asteroid a small moon, since asteroids are typically considered one of the biggest threats that might come from space. But with asteroid 2024 PT5, it's really different. This rock is so small that it doesn't pose any real danger to us. Some skeptics, especially esotericists who believe that the moon has mysterious powers over us, might present the risk differently. As we know, the moon is capable of significantly influencing the water levels in our oceans. Some researchers claim that even asteroids the size of 2024 PT5 could cause some changes on Earth. However, given its size of just a few meters, we can reasonably doubt this. The impact of asteroid 2024 PT5 is comparable to throwing a pebble into the water. It will create a small ripple on the surface before sinking without causing any significant waves or tidal surges. Larger asteroids behave very differently, but they also follow very different flight paths. Asteroids several hundred meters, or even kilometers in diameter, can pose a threat when they cross the solar system. These asteroids usually have such mass and speed that they can't simply be pulled into Earth's magnetic field. Asteroids traveling through space at speeds of tens of thousands of kilometers per hour usually pass right through our magnetic field. In the worst case, they might strike the surface of Earth. If they miss, they continue their journey across the solar system, approaching the Sun, then moving away again, passing near planets like Earth, Mercury, or Venus. Each asteroid follows a unique trajectory based on its size, weight, and the makeup of the rock. Asteroids are massive objects that mostly originate from the early days of our solar system and have been flying through space ever since. As remnants from the birth of our star and planets, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the solar system's history. Fortunately, most asteroids are firmly bound in large clusters. Between Jupiter and Mars lies the asteroid belt, which contains hundreds of thousands of individual rocky objects, varying in size from pebbles to giant rocks several kilometers across. Occasionally, gravitational interactions between the Sun and other objects in the system cause some asteroids to be nudged out of their fixed positions, and they fly toward the Sun. The giant gas planet Jupiter also has an astonishing number of asteroids tied to its magnetic field. Jupiter's moons seem to be linked to the planet in a stable way. Since we have been able to observe debris in Jupiter's environment, we see that the asteroids there behave stably. Most asteroids that pass through Earth's inner solar system originate from the large asteroid belt located between Jupiter and Mars. However, asteroid 2024 PT5 probably has a completely different history, which is why it has such an unusual nickname. Some scientists suspect that our new, small-scale moon might actually be a fragment of the moon itself. Calculations suggest it could have been separated from our moon after a collision with another large body. This event might have been triggered by an impact between the moon and a large asteroid. It's possible that asteroid 2024 PT5 originates from a time when collisions between large objects in the solar system were more frequent than today. Most asteroids are about 4.5 billion years old, which is the same age as our star. Scientists would love to obtain a rock sample to definitively determine the age of 2024 PT5. Of course, this task is not so simple. If asteroid 2024 PT5 were to fall toward Earth's surface, it would most likely burn up in the atmosphere. Sending a probe to capture the rock would be too costly, and we simply don't have enough time. With only a little under 2 months until the asteroid's closest approach, it's just not feasible to visit asteroid 2024 PT5 in person. For now, our science must content itself with observing the asteroid with telescopes. These small objects can only be detected by a few telescopes on Earth. Facilities such as the Mauna Kea Observatory in Hawaii and the Maputo Observatory in South Africa have been specifically designed to detect celestial objects with diameters of a few hundred meters. These observatories constantly monitor the night sky to detect asteroids and other objects that could pose a threat to us.
Of course, these observatories will also track the movement of asteroid 2024 PT5 24 hours a day. However, experts admit that spotting these small asteroids is a real challenge, even for the best facilities on Earth. Nevertheless, we hope to gather enough information about this small moon to make some real conclusions about its origin and its role in our solar system. Comet, solar storms, and supermoons. We are currently living in a truly exciting time in astronomy. Our planet is subject to so many unusual influences that we rarely encounter. In addition to the visit of the small moon, we are also living through the prelude to the peak of solar cycle 25. While the most intense solar activity is not expected until next year, solar flares have already been considerable since early August. We have periodically experienced solar storms, and some particle storms have reached such intensity that these solar events are now considered among the most violent of the century. For weeks now, people have been observing stunning auroras, even in regions where they are typically rare, though we will never see this scene. In October 2024, we will experience a new peak in solar activity. What makes solar storms so fascinating is that they don't just bring us colorful scenes in the night sky. Individual storms could have enough power to paralyze our electrical grids or communication networks on Earth. So far, we have been lucky. But what if such particle storms start affecting our physical and mental health? This is not scientifically clear yet. In October, the Comet Chartbook will continue to mesmerize us with a special, bright display. Discovered in the spring, the comet will come so close to Earth that it will be visible to the naked eye. The Comet C/29Y4 mapbook, with its green tail, is one of the brightest comets of the year and is celebrated by many as a harbinger of light and a symbol of luck. Unlike asteroids, comets are made of ice, dust, and rock. They, too, are fascinating remnants from the time when the solar system was forming, but they come from a very different region than asteroids. Comets are believed to originate from a group of icy objects located far beyond the current boundaries of the solar system. Once again, it is the sun that releases comets from the Oort cloud and sends them flying toward our planet. As if this weren't enough to dazzle us, in October 2024, we will also experience a supermoon. This astronomical phenomenon occurs when the moon is closer to Earth than usual and is full at the same time. Scientists call this proximity the perigee. Supermoons happen every year in October, as the moon's elliptical orbit often coincides with the perigee, making the full moon appear up to 14% larger and 30% brighter than usual. Since the supermoon of October 17th is accompanied by the appearance of Chartbook, we will have yet another truly exceptional celestial display for both astronomers and stargazing enthusiasts. Fall 2024 will be filled with particularly special moments. Millions of people around the world will flock in the evenings to observation sites to see the comet, the supermoon, or spectacular auroras. What remains to be seen is whether we will also be able to marvel at the scaled-down moon 2024 PT5 with our own eyes. No, astronomers are unequivocal on this point. Unless you have access to a powerful telescope or are a professional astronomer, you won't have the chance to see this modest moon. Asteroid 2024 PT5 is simply too small, with only a few meters in diameter, to be visible to the naked eye or in amateur telescopes. Subscribe to the channel now and stay tuned for many exciting new videos.